This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 607 for June 10th, 2019. The Sacrifice Routine.
Hook 3 times or more, eh?
Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpier.
Hello.
The Nimp is off this week. He's taking care of some family event. Not like Family Matters or anything. It's nothing important, but I mean, it is important. Anyway, he's off. He'll be back next week.
Prior engagements with his family.
God, what is wrong with me today? So Nimp isn't here. He will be back next week. This week, like as we're recording right now, E3 is starting, so we're not talking about E3 this week, which includes Google Stadia. So we're going to talk about Google Stadia and all the E3 stuff next week. Next week will only be E3 stuff, so we don't have a lot to cover this week. Yes. But we appreciate you listening, but we're not going to cover any of that stuff, especially we were talking pre-show. There's still some clarification for some Stadia stuff. So a couple of days here will serve a lot of that information pretty well. So next week is a big E3 blowout. We'll have all the conferences. We'll have all the stuff written up, typed up. We'll have watched everything. So
I can't really deny it anymore, can I?
No, it's here. The beast has arrived. The E3 beast. Rah. Yeah. All right, but all that stuff will be next week. This week, we're going to talk about games, though, before we talk about games that are coming out later. What have you been playing this past week, Moon?
Okay, start with the Outer Wilds.
Yeah, I played a little bit of this.
So I don't know what's going on in this game.
Yeah, I kind of dig that. I like looking at that computer menu and saying, like, all right, I read this thing, and it pointed me towards this other planet to go check something out.
And then you get to the other planet and you're trying to find it and you find 6 other things that you need to investigate.
Right.
Like, oh, come on.
Right.
Come on.
I kind of dig that. Like, it never seems like there's too much stuff because I can focus on one planet where it's like, okay, I got to this planet, I found the southern observatory door, but it's stuck. So now I need to find another way around. Cool. Okay.
Yes.
I'll focus on that.
Stupid lab door that it's like, take this other entrance because this entrance is blocked because we don't want any exterior things. It's like, okay, find a way around. I found the White Hole Station.
I did too, which is great.
I don't want to talk about it in too much specifics because this game has got some wonderful moments.
Yes.
And sorry, my cat just screeched outside my door. So if you hear a cat meowing very loudly on my stream, I apologize.
Oops.
But yeah, it's full of these like wonderful moments, and to talk about them too directly, I feel this game is all about spoilers, basically.
Yeah, and it reminds me a lot of what I loved about The Witness, where you get into an area and you look at it and you're like, cool, I have no idea what to do, but you start reading stuff, you start picking up stuff and like slotting into pedestals, and you start piecing all these things together, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. If I drag this thing over there, it spins this thing, and then I look, oh, okay, and then I go, okay, cool, all right, yeah. And like, just by degrees, you're figuring all this stuff out.
Yeah, I've died way too many times to think of. I held myself into the sun by accident at one point.
Yep, me too.
I've been suffocated by sand at least 4 times.
Oh, I haven't done that one yet. That sounds terrifying.
It is a little bit, because it's like, oh, take this path, but go quickly before the sand gets here. No. I didn't go quick enough. I went a little bit too slow and got lost in a maze of caves.
Right.
I've done it. There's like so many things like I've gone and explored. I figured out the harmonica.
Okay, I don't know if I have. Interesting.
That's curious.
Yeah,
a curious one. That. Don't be afraid to explore everywhere, and I mean, everywhere.
That's so. The thing that I wrote about this game this week is the puzzle. Like we were just talking about, the puzzle and mystery solving is something special. Like, I think that's the reason people should pick up and play this game. It's on Game Pass for free. Just pick up and play it sight unseen, and just give it a couple of hours. I just wish it controlled better, like across the board.
Yes, it's very middling controls.
Yeah, and like with the ship, that's often fine because you can kind of crash it pretty hard and it'll be fine. Yeah. I've killed myself by crashing the ship at least once. But like with the Southern Observatory stuff we were just talking about, you have to eventually start going and doing some platforming stuff. That stuff is really rough. Even once you get a control over the jetpack and stuff, I wish it was just a little bit tighter.
Mm-hmm. And so far, that's my biggest complaint is the controls. Like, I love the world. I love the fact that there's basically no enemies. Like, this is very much a go and explore. You've got, 22 minutes to figure out everything you can before something happens, and then you've got to go figure it out again. I want to know what that thing is. That purple thing in the sky. Right. I need to know what that is.
Yeah. And this is the game I've always wanted to make. And it's a game I've been talking about for like a decade, where it's like, what if you took the puzzle solving of a lot of these character action games and just took out the fighting and the shooting? Mm-hmm. I think you are left with this cool mystery game.
Yeah. It's like, it's a grown-up Goosebumps game. It's a grown-up, whatever the sisters who solve crimes.
Right. Yeah, like something happened and you have this 22-minute thing, and how do you solve it?
Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's pretty great so far.
Yeah.
Like I'm enjoying the exploration. I'm enjoying looking around, figuring stuff out, and it's also very much a pick up, play it for an hour, and then put it down and come back it later.
Yep. Like play it for a life, and then I wrote down the death I had this week that made me stop playing it for the week, mostly because other stuff came out that I needed to play. I landed on that planet we were talking about with the Southern Observatory. I landed my ship outside this, like a escape pod sort of thing. Climbed in the escape pod, and there's a window at the top. And I look out the window, and there's a volcanic, whatever, moon that's circling around the planet that every once in a while shoots like lava balls down the planet.
I think it's Ember and Ember's Lantern is what that's called.
Yeah. Ember's Lantern is such a cool name. And I looked out the window to see a fireball hit my ship and send it jettisoning off into at hundreds of meters per second off into the depths of space. And I was like, I'm done. That's it. I'm not gonna find my ship. I'm not gonna survive. I'm done. I'll hit this up next week.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm loving the different styles of the planets. It's like go in knowing as little as you can.
Yeah,
that's the best thing we can say. Is like it makes me feel like Edith, where it's like you go in and you play that and you go in blind.
Yeah, you should experience it.
Yeah, don't let people tell you it's good. Don't let people think, just load it up and try it.
Yeah.
See if it's for you.
And I say give it, like we were talking about, give it like 2 or 3 hours. Like you need to get through the tutorial and you need to go through a couple of 22 minutes and really give it a shot and make sure that you look at your ship computer a lot, because that was the mistake I was making my first couple runs. I could never remember, until you mentioned it on the show, I could never remember where that thing was for all the secrets and the hints in that flowchart. Once I started relying on that more heavily, where it's like, okay, now I have a goal, it's on this planet, it's this hint, I need to go, I want to go figure this thing out.
Yeah.
I started having way more fun with it at that point, because I had a mini goal in mind.
Yeah, it's cool to, because you'll start off and you'll go to the first thing it recommends you do is go to the moon, the close moon, and investigate these ruins. And those ruins will give you 3 or 4 little trails that you can follow. And then you just pick one, see what it says, and then follow that trail. So I followed that trail to try and find a fossil on the twin planets closest to the sun.
Right.
I found the fossil, but I don't know how to get to the fossil.
Right. So now you have another mystery.
Exactly. So it's like, okay, how do I get that? I need to explore the actual place. I need to go basically do a fly around and try and figure out how to get there.
Right.
And then from there, you can either give up on that and go follow something else, or you'll follow that to its next logical destination point.
Right.
And it's like studying these things allow you to do other things, and it's just this nice little chain of like breadcrumbs for you to figure out which one you want to follow. And if you get bored or you can't figure something out, like what happened to me was I got suffocated by sand 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to follow a different path now.
Right.
And I went into the ship's computer and I looked at something else and I was like, let's try that one instead.
Oops, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I forgot to mention the thing I really like about this game is really early on in the game they give you a translator gun, basically. You shoot it at like this curly Q that's there, and it scans it, it decrypts it. But what I really like is it's really a conversation log. So you'll read that one, and little curly Qs come out of that one, and those are conversation trees that these people, things, I don't know, are having with each other, and they sort of twist and curl off of each other. So it's like this one conversation is talking about the matter of space-time, and the other one is like talking about how crazy this other person is. And I was like, this is cool.
It's a really intriguing way that the game has presented its story, and it works pretty well.
Yeah.
Like, they even say, like, look, these spinny things represent conversations. 90% of the time, it's somebody else responding is the outcropping.
Yep.
And then you just get one where it's just this one guy rambling by himself. And it feels weird because there's nobody else is responding to him. It's just him talking to himself the whole time.
Yeah, there's another friend chat being like, that guy's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, go play Outer Wilds. It's on Game Pass. Give it a shot. I played a little bit of Dead by Daylight this week. I'm only checking in here because I want to talk about Moon's luck.
Okay.
Which is to say that my luck goes one of two ways. It goes very, very good, or it goes very, very, very bad.
There's no middle ground.
No middle ground at all. So when we get games like, I think I talked about it with Rainbow Six Siege, like we had the stupid Rainbow event, and it's a random cosmetic box. Basically, you get one for free. And my wife said to me, don't you dare get Tachanka's helmet or Tachanka's clothes. I will be mad if you do. I opened my one pack and I got Tachanka's head.
Ta-da!
This happens all of the time with cosmetic stuff.
Right.
It happens in Apex. It happens in other stuff. It's like cosmetic boxes. Like generally, I will have a pretty good look at that. Mm-hmm. The flip side of this is Dead by Daylight, which has daily challenges. Now, like all good daily challenge games, it's basically just a mission that you can do to get you a whole bunch of bonus XP. So it'll be like, repair the equivalent of 3 generators and you get 30,000 blood points.
Okay.
Now, what you can do is you can recycle one of them every single day and get a new one.
Okay.
So it tops out at 3, and then you can choose one to recycle if you don't particularly like it. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I had a quest for the Plague. No, it wasn't yesterday, it was Friday. It was Friday, I had a quest for the Plague. Now,
is that a killer?
The Plague is the killer.
Okay.
If it's the blank, it's always a killer.
Okay.
The Plague, the Shape, the Dream Demon, the Lumberjack, the Trapper, the Huntress, whatever.
The Jason.
The Jason. Wait, which one's Jason? Michael is the Shape.
Oh, so they use their movie names.
The movie equivalents, yes.
Right.
I think Freddy is the Nightmare.
Oh, that makes sense, sure.
Yeah. And the Soul Lady is the pig because she wears the pig mask.
Gotcha.
The Cannibal is Leatherface.
Okay.
Which makes perfect sense. But yeah. So I got this quest for the Plague. The Plague is the newest killer they've added, who is custom designed and made by them, who vomits.
Right, the one you don't like.
The one I don't like because the sound of vomiting triggers me.
Right, triggers your nausea.
To want to vomit.
Right.
When I'm playing Sea of Thieves, I run a teetotal ship because I don't like the fact that everybody will run around going, whoa, whoa,
right.
Whoa. It's like, no drinking on my ship, thank you very much. because it will literally start making me sick, and that's not good. So I get this quest for the plague, and it's like, oh, if it was just like down people or sacrifice people, I'd be like, cool, I'll just won't use her special ability, which is the vomit move. But her mission was hit people with your base weapon 4 times when they are at maximum infection, which means I have to vomit on people a lot. It's like, great. Just great.
Perfect.
So I did what any good vomit-averse person would do, and I recycled that quest.
Yeah, like immediately.
Quick as I could.
Yeah.
And instead I got a Mori quest, which... Okay. Now I'm speaking a foreign language, and I love this.
So that's a survivor, right? Because it's not the Mori.
No, a Mori is a charm that the killers can equip.
Oh.
That lets them kill people without having to go through the sacrifice routine. Okay. So it's basically like when you go into a match with a loadout, you have the option to choose like, oh, I'm going to burn this offering, and it's got a high likelihood of taking us to these specific maps, or I'm going to burn this one, it's going to give me 50 bonus XP in whatever category. Okay. I'm going to burn this one, and it's going to thicken the dark mist.
I'm getting so many good show titles. I'm not going to write that one down. I'm getting so many good show titles.
There's also the equivalent, which is thin the dark mist. So when you have a killer who's tall, you want to thicken the dark mist as much as possible, because they're tall, but you can blend into the mist a bit quicker. But if you've got a killer who's small, they will blend into the mist, and you won't see them coming.
That's interesting. Okay.
The problem with that tactic is you don't know who the killer is until the map has started.
So you're sort of rolling the dice here.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So if you get a level with the pig, you don't want that thick mist. You want it crystal clear as it can be, just so you can see them coming. A Mori is one of these things that you burn, and when you burn it at the start of the map, it basically, if you down a survivor, you can then immediately kill them without having to sacrifice them. So you don't have to go and put them on a hook and let the timer expire, or put them on a hook, then when they get brought off, do the same thing twice more to sacrifice them.
Gotcha.
It's just like, you are down, you are dead, have fun with that, bye-bye, see you next time.
Right. Send you right back to the lobby.
Moris are cool because each killer has their own individual animation, their individual special kill stuff for it, and it's really cool to see. It's a very rare thing to pick up on the Blood Web. So it's a hard thing to come by. So I was like, okay, I'm going to leave that for the next day, and then I'm going to recycle that one, and hopefully I'm going to get a survivor one.
Right.
So yesterday rolls around, and I recycled the Mori quest, and it's the Plague quest again.
You will vomit, and you will like it.
Yes. So I started playing as the Plague yesterday, and as long as I'm not on the receiving end, it seems to be okay.
Okay. And it's a game you can't play without the sound either, of course, right?
Exactly. Because you need to be able to hear, is this generator exploding? There is audio-visual notifications constantly.
Right.
There is one map where anytime the survivors go onto this specific boat, it's full of crows, and the crows will fly away. So if you are a survivor or a killer on that map, and you hear those crows, you know that somebody's just approached that area, and if you know the map, you know where to go, so you know how to get someone really, really quickly.
Right.
But you can't do that without the sound.
Right.
Man. It's quite gross when this woman is just like, blah, 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 blah. It's like a boomer from Left 4 Dead,
right.
Except instead of being a big, massive wire thing, it's just a single stream that comes out. It's like
gross.
It's like The Exorcist.
Right.
It's like that scene.
Oh, man.
And then you can infect everything that the survivors can interact with, which then turns into this green bubbly sheen over the top of everything. It's
a cool mechanic. It's just, please stop throwing up. No.
The worst thing is, her music is really cool because everybody's got their own musical cues.
Oh, cool.
Like Michael has the Friday the 13th, Freddy has Dingo. The Huntress has got this little humming tune that she hums to herself as her music.
Cool.
The Clown has got this dystopian, creepy circus music as his music. And the Plague's music is twisted, operatic, church music.
That's cool.
It's really, really
And
cool.
Dead by Daylight is cool.
And then she throws up on everything.
Right. Yeah,
Like, okay, sure.
you could have been the
Why not?
coolest.
Best thing is, her weapon is a sensor.
Oh, great. That's smart. Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And she swings it like a mace. She's just like,
That's great.
it's amazing.
Dead by Daylight is cool. Available now on Game Pass.
Yes. Like, I can't sing the praise for these devs enough. Because it's so unique, but so replayable over and over and over again. Like, I've just hit this point now where I'm popping in every day and just doing like 1 or 2 rounds.
You're playing
just
like
to
an
get
hour.
A bit more XP.
Yeah.
I did manage to prestige David King, which made me laugh
Nice.
because he's one of the hardest survivors to play with. And when you prestige, you get new cosmetics.
Ooh, hello.
The new cosmetics indicate your level of prestige with that character. So now my David King has got red blood covering like a quarter of his shirt.
Ah. I thought it was going to be like a gold vest or something.
No, the darker colors, the better in this game. If you have a character and you can choose the cosmetics that you're wearing, you choose the dark colors because let me tell you, bright yellow stands out in the forest.
Right.
This is the opposite of going hunting rules.
Right.
Like you don't want to be spotted. You want
Gotta blend in.
Exactly.
That's cool.
But yeah, Dead by Daylight, it's really good. I like Dead by Daylight.
Go play with Moonpeer on Xbox Live.
Yes. Come and play. And if you're scared, don't worry. I can teach, and my wife will usually be pretty good about jumping in and teaching too.
Dead by Daylight
We can
Sherpas.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a great game.
Yeah.
I played Descenders again, and this time I'm not going to talk too much about Descenders. The patch seems to have been doing well. I'm very curious, and I've been waiting a week to ask you this because I didn't want to bother you on Twitter.
Sure.
Did you get it fixed?
No. So for anyone listening, I re-downloaded Descenders because Moon was talking last week about frame rate fixes. And I wanted to try it with online mode on and then offline mode on. So basically online versus offline to see like where I'd like to play with ghosts on if possible because I think that's cool. But if the frame rate is hugely improved by going with offline mode, then I would go with that. Re-downloaded it, synced my save, got into the game, and I get plopped into the quasi free roam hub area. I was like, cool. I'll just drive up to one of these tents, and that has to start a race. Nope. Okay. I can go in the cabin, and that doesn't do anything. That's weird. That seems like that should do something. And I can do like tricks and wander around and stuff. I asked Moon on Twitter, like, how do I start a race? Like, this seems like a really weird question. Moon said, oh, just hit the start button and it'll pop up my menu. That does not do that for me. So it zooms in on my character and it like goes into real extreme slow-mo.
Yep, which is what it does when it hits the menu.
And I can I can move the stick around and I hear menu options going like bip, tip, 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 tip. And it never draws the menu. So here's my frustration. I deleted the game and I deleted my save. And I said, all right, let's start completely back over.
Did you get rid of your cloud save too?
I'll get to that. So I re-download the game, I fire the game back up, and as soon as I start, it goes through that horribly long load time, which is fine. And then it syncs my save. I was like, oh crap, that's right, cloud saves. Okay, exit out, delete my save. Cool, my save's deleted. Go back in, it syncs. It's like, oh, right, cloud saves. So I Google, and they say, okay, go to where you delete your save, and then click delete all saves. And it'll delete your local and your cloud one. Great. That button doesn't show up. So I can't delete my cloud save because my cloud save isn't showing up. And at that point, I was like, screw, I'm done with this for a couple of days.
Okay, so do you still have it installed?
I believe so. If not, it's on Game Pass.
Okay, so I think the solution might be you might need to create a new save again. And then hopefully the delete all saves button should be there if you've got a local save.
Right.
That correlates to what's in the cloud.
Yeah,
it should work, I think.
I think that I agree. I think that's what I need to do. I just like rage quit a console at that point. I was like, I'm not dealing with this. Jesus.
Do you want to, while we're in this wonderful story moment, do you want to tell them about your other save game issues this week?
So, we're playing Don't Starve right now for We Roguelike It. Go check out the show if you're not listening to it. It's episode 33. Show's going really great. I loaded up, so I installed the game, I downloaded my saves from the cloud, everything worked fine. I had a couple of saves, like, across all the DLCs. I was clearly, like, trying Rise of Giants and lasted 4 days. I tried Shipwrecked. I lasted, like, 3 days. I had 4 saves. I didn't want to play around with it at the beginning, so I just started a new save and played for a couple of days. When I went back in, I deleted all those additional saves. I'm like, I don't want to figure out which one is which. I know this last one is my good one. As soon as I delete the last save before my actual save, the game crashes. I'm like, all right, fine. Report the error to Clay. Cool. Attach a video file. Do all the normal stuff. When I go back in, the game's like, congratulations, your save is corrupted. Do you want to turn off autosave? It's like, no, I very much want autosave on. It's like, well, do you want to delete your save? It's like, sure, I guess. Fine. I'll just start back over, I guess. So yeah, I'm cursed.
Yeah, you have been touched by what I like to call the curse of Jess, which is my wife, because every time she touches technology, it breaks. And she will be the first person to admit that this happens. And as far as I can tell, she doesn't actually do anything wrong.
She's just using it.
Stuff,
right.
And it breaks.
Right. I haven't touched my Switch in a week or so for a very specific reason.
You want it to stay alive?
Yeah, let this black cloud pass, and then I'll be back to normal.
Fingers crossed it gets there.
Yeah. I have a game to play on my Switch. Like, I've Gato Roboto to play. Like, I need to play this game.
And you have another game coming out really soon for the Switch, too.
Fingers crossed that Cadence of Hyrule comes out this week at E3.
I think it's 20th. I think
okay.
Talked about it being the 20th.
Okay.
Which,
Soon.
Why not now?
Yeah, why not today? Today sounds good.
But anyway, yes, I've played some Descenders, and it's okay. This is what I like to call the roguelike face for anybody who's watching on the video, and Boston can relate to this face.
Yeah.
So, Descenders has a whole bunch of challenges and stuff like that built into it. It's got sponsorship quests. And I'm an achievement hunter, and this is a roguelike, so I'm enjoying playing it and using the achievements to further my aims to play the game.
Filling up some bars.
Exactly. Yeah. Filling up some bars, hitting some objectives, that kind of thing. There's a couple of achievements in there. One I'm never going to get, called the Golden Run, which is not as filthy as it sounds. That is start to finish in the main campaign, never bailing.
Woof. Okay.
So that's, if you minimize it, that's around about 6 to 8 courses per map. Never ever bailing, including on boss jumps.
Wow. Okay.
The first boss jump you can skip. The first boss jump you can just go underneath the bridge and it gives you the chicken mask, and that's great.
Sure.
From then on, the boss jumps are over canyons.
Oh boy.
You can't skip those ones.
Right. So you literally have to have a perfect run. Oof. Okay.
Right now it's a 0.01% achievement, I believe.
that sounds about right. Yeah.
There is a less cruel version of that called True Descender, which is start to finish in one run. So 4 maps, however long it takes you, however many bails, you just do it. You just go start to finish and you make it.
Okay.
I thought, a couple of weeks ago I was talking about this game and I said, well, I already know what the last level in the second career mode is, because you got the 4 maps, and I got to the favelas, which was the 3rd map, so it's like desert, super duper canyon, favelas, and then something else.
Right.
I said, oh, that's got to be the volcano, because there's an achievement related to that.
For jumping over an active volcano's mouth?
I was wrong.
Oh.
The volcano it's a bonus jump given to you in the first career path if you make all of the boss jumps and go through the fire rings at the same time.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting. So it's almost like a bonus level?
Exactly. So you do all 4 boss jumps going through the fiery hoops, and you get your volcano bonus jump at the end of the game.
Okay.
So I'll try and get there eventually. Fingers crossed, one day, whatever.
That sounds like a fun run.
Yeah. Today, now this game is hard. Like, it's very, very hard when you get to the higher tiers because you will jump onto a course that gives you an extra life, and then you will spend 6 lives trying to get 1 extra life. So I need to reshuffle my way of thinking with regards to this. But today, I was playing the game, and I started from the start, and I'm going through just basically doing sponsorship challenges to try and get my master degree in Kinetic, which is the fast downhill speed sponsor.
Okay.
So I'm trying to go for that, and I'm just doing challenges. And without even realizing it, suddenly I'm on the last course out of the 4 on the basic career campaign. I'm like, hold on. I've got 5 lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on a start to finish run right now, which I haven't done. At no point have I actually managed to do the start to finish run at all. Now, I haven't gone through all the fire hoops, so I'm not going to get Volcano, but I've got the chance for the start to finish achievement here.
Sure.
The last one being the peaks is a downhill snowy mountain where you go off the track and basically you die.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do my best. I'm just going to direct line it to the boss jump and hope for the best. So I get to the boss jump map. I've got 3 lives left.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge jump over this giant valley where you then have to ride on the top of a ski lift, like an enclosed ski lift, like big ski lift mountain thing, on the top of that, and then make another jump off that to a very narrow path.
Jeez.
And then hit that narrow path to the end.
Oof.
I clean miss it the first time, and that costs me 2 lives.
You just totally whiff.
I went over it, I didn't even hit the top of the thing, and I just went down the side of it and landed so hard it cost me 2 lives. It was great. It's great. The second time, I go for it, and I short it by... Because the problem is you're going so fast, you land it, but you land so hard that you crash.
Right.
So it's this speed balance of just fast enough, but not too fast. The second time, I make it, and I land it, but I wreck myself, and I go flying off the edge of this thing. It's like, great. One last time. It's called the last stand is basically your last life.
No pressure.
So I'm going down this, and I make it over this stupid monorail car. I hit the next jump, and literally my front wheel clips the edge of the jump, and I fall straight down and die.
No.
And it was... I'm going to use my Siege terms here. This was what I refer to as a heartbreaking defeat.
Yeah.
Because literally, as soon as I did that, I took my headphones off, I put them down, I turned my console off, and I went into the kitchen and I started doing chores.
Just calmly walked away.
It was so bad. And then, I put my head in my hands, and my wife was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, that was a start to finish run, and that was the last jump in the map.
Oh, man.
And she was like, "Oh."
Oh.
It's like, great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just... At that point, I was just like, I'm done.
I'm putting this down for a couple days.
I need to walk away for a little bit because it's the Isaac run where you know you've got what it takes to get all the way and kill Mega Satan.
It's not a guaranteed run, but you just have to play clean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I missed it by like a front wheel. If my front wheel would have touched, I would have been fine.
Right.
But my front wheel didn't touch, so I wasn't fine, and that was frustrating.
Oh, man.
It was just, yeah, Descenders is so good.
Yeah.
I really like this game, despite how dumb and indie it is. And my final game this week is Breath of the Wild.
Oh, yeah.
I have defeated my first Divine Beast.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
The Zora
Elephant.
one?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the elephant, the Zora one.
Yeah, the elephant, that's right.
Which, that's a really, really cool way to do the new dungeons.
Yeah.
And that boss scared me until I realized how to beat him, and I was like, "Oh, dude, you are nothing but a punk."
Right.
Like,
it's not as scary as it seems.
You so quickly.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that they brought back the lore from like not Breath of the Wild, Ocarina of Time. How like the Zora chick really fancies Link, but doesn't say anything about it. Like, it's the unrequited love thing. It's. Yeah, so I did that. I got the elephant special ability now.
What was the special ability for that one?
It's basically a fairy. It brings you back to life.
Oh, right. Okay.
With full hearts. I got a whole bunch more power things. I found Kakariko Forest or whatever it's called.
Right, Kakariko, I think.
Yes, yeah. I found that before dealing with the Divine Beast because I was trying to get some shrines to get my health and stamina up.
Right.
Trying to over-prepare,
right,
shall we say. Found the Lost Woods, went through the Lost Woods. I found the object that's in the Lost Woods that I won't talk about because that's a cool moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's the object you think it is, listeners at home, but, they could surprise us.
I didn't know it was there.
Right.
I literally had no idea. I didn't know the person who's in that forest was there. I didn't know that was there. Right. So I walked up and was like, wait, is that? Yeah.
Is it the thing? Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's what it is. I did the thing and I almost died, of course.
Yeah.
Because you have to do it. And then I just did a whole bunch of exploring. I found a bunch of shrines. I did a bunch of shrines. And like I said, I went in just this afternoon, beat the Elephant Divine Beast, got that special power, and now I feel like the world has opened up to me now, because okay, now I see. Now I'm going to go see what I can do about the other Divine Beasts.
Right.
Don't know what those giant dragons are. I still haven't found all of the memories, so I'm trying to find the painted dude who can help me with another one of the memories.
Right. Forgot about that painter. I like that guy.
Yes, I need to apparently go and explore all of the stables, because it looks like every time I've seen him, he's been near a stable associated with one of those memories.
Yeah, that's right, because he's either like in one of the major towns or near one of the stables. That's right.
And he pointed me towards two of them, which were the one by the horse statue and the one by the mountain where it looks over the mountain with the view to the castle in the distance. Like, he pointed me towards them two from the same stable, basically. Right. So, man, right now I'm just doing quests. Breath of the Wild is so good.
Yeah, well, we were talking earlier about Outer Wilds, about a game you can really pick up and play. And man, Breath of the Wild is really like that, where it's like, I can pick this up, I can find a shrine, I can do it, and I've done something. Or I can find another stable, I've done something. You don't need to play for 5 hours straight to get something done. You can always accomplish something.
Yeah, the musical cues are so good as well.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even realize I was near a stable, but I heard that stable musical. Like, there is one around here. Right. I need to find it. Where is it?
Get up to high ground. Let's find one of these things. Yeah.
Yep. I uncovered another 2 or 3 towers, I think, now. I think I've only got like 3 or 4 3 or 4 zones to do.
Yeah.
I got all my base upgrades from the lady in the research lab. Okay. Now I need to find the male, the Robbie guy.
Oh, yeah, like her assistant or whatever.
Yeah. I'm assuming to get more, but that's to the north of Zora's domain, so that I need to go and uncover that area and go and try and figure out what's going on there.
Yeah.
I did meet my first and second Lionel. Oh, boy.
Who's that again?
Minotaurs. Not Minotaurs.
Right.
Centaurs, but lions.
Yeah. I forgot. Boy, those guys are intense.
Yeah. The first one being the one who fires the shock arrows on the top of Zora's domain.
God. I forgot about that jerk. Jesus.
And the second one being moon exploring where he shouldn't be exploring.
Right. Ooh, what's over here?
Just seeing a question mark in the distance and being like, what's that?
I gotta go find it.
I zoomed in and this question mark was looking directly at me, slowly turning yellow and then slowly turning red. And I was like, bye.
Right. That's not going to be good.
I'm going to go over here because you look terrifying.
Yeah.
It's a great game.
Yeah.
Genuinely wonderful game.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like my wife is home, I take the Switch, I put the Switch in, I set the Switch on, she plays Rainbow Six Siege or Rocket League, and I play Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Like, we played a little bit of Cuphead, but that game is hard single player.
Yeah.
Which I did play a little bit of this week.
I didn't get a chance to play any of that this week.
Yeah, Cuphead is hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing. Go play Breath of the Wild. It's great.
I wrote down Void Bastards on my list, but I don't think I played more than an hour of it. So it's still good. It's still the same thing. They put in a patch where if you've beaten it on the hardest mode, which I think is called Hard Bastard, there's another harder mode after that where they only give you a foon to attack with, one of those fork spoon things.
Great.
And that's the only weapon you have for the whole game. So if you want something that's even harder than the ridiculously hard mode, I guess you can go do that. Go play a Dark Souls game, I guess, because you're ready for harder games.
Yeah. That seems a little mean.
Yeah. Thankfully, it's optional, but... Konami PixelPuzzle Arcade, I'm firing up right now to see what my percentage is at.
It's ridiculous. You've played too much of this game.
I play it every night before I go to bed. I can usually squeeze like 4 or 5 puzzles in. As most puzzles I can beat in about 10 minutes. So I can usually get a good amount of time. 35.4%. They're so hard. I'm having such a hard time with so many of these puzzles. I'm a third of the way through the game.
Yep.
So I'm at the point where boss puzzles are significantly easier than the normal puzzles I'm running into. So
wait until you get to the hard boss puzzles.
Oh god, I don't know. Some of these boss puzzles are like 16 puzzles, 16 complete puzzles, and I'm working on a bunch of them that where I'm like 4 or 5 pieces through. So that's, I don't know, man, it's really good. Big Mackie, friend of the show, No Quarters, BMF Cast, he and I have been talking about it online, where it's like, he'll post a picture where it's like, how do I complete this puzzle? And it's like, well, here's the only move I think I can make. I'm like scribbling cells in on the on
the screenshot.
Yeah, the screenshot tool on my phone. It's got us bad. So, but I keep thinking, this is one of the nonogram games I've really stuck with, and I feel like I can go to some of the other ones I typically play and take these skills and get further in those. So that makes me really happy. The only note I wrote down for this week is I wish they would patch this. Is typically how this works in nonogram games that I've played on at least iOS is there's a precedence to the stuff you're putting down. So if you have filled a square, if you've filled in a square, basically how it should work is if you drag a bunch of X's down that line, it should never overwrite the cell you've filled in, because you know for sure that one's filled in already.
Yeah.
PixelPuzzle Collection doesn't do that. So if you drag down a bunch of X's, it overwrites whatever's in its way. I wish it wouldn't do that, because a lot of times it's like, all right, I filled in one block, and I know nothing else is filled in for like 10 more blocks. I'm just going to fill this in myself. And it's like my only one small, tiny, minor complaint. But go get it. Go download it. Go try some nonograms. It might not be for you. That's cool. But, it's free. The barrier to entry is virtually
as
zero.
Low as it can be.
Yeah, so. And lastly, Destiny 2. I didn't play a ton of stuff this week. I was working on some other projects, and it was a busy week. But I did make some time for the new season of Destiny 2, the Season of Opulence. All the new guns and gear are all like gold filleted and gold plated. It's really great. The big new activity this time is the Menagerie. And Bungie was kind of holding back a lot of details about this beforehand. But it's a 6-person match-made activity. And what they've actually done is they've actually made a 6-person match-made mini raid. So all 6 of you drop in. You do this opening ceremony, basically, much like the Vault of Glass opening activity. And then from there on, it gives you randomized events. So you're going through basically the underbelly of the Leviathan, where the first 3 raids are. The boss of that raid is basically says like, "Hey man, I've been doing some stuff down here that I have not shown anyone. I'm gonna have you prove your worth down there." And you basically find out he has been creating terrible, horrible things.
So he's David Bowie from the Labyrinth.
very, very much so, yeah. But what's cool is like you get all these little activities that are raid activities, where it's like, I'm going to pick up this thing and it allows me to shoot a laser and break crystals, like you did in the Leviathan. And there's, I think, 6 or 7 of them. And for the first time in Destiny history, thankfully, there's no fail state. So there's a timer for the event you're going through, and there's sort of a goal on this progress bar you have. And you have to be 690 to get into it. So thankfully, Bungie did this thing again where you go through this mission called the Invitation. And at the end of it, they just give you a bunch of gear that's 690. So you're all ready to go into the menagerie. And the Hannah and I did this the other day. So we spent, I think it was 45 minutes going through that quest line, and we did it together. And then he was ready to go in the menagerie, which we just did. Basically, every event has a timer on it. And the great part is the difficulty on each event scales up the better you do. So it's very much like 720, 730, 745, and we're like 700, 710. If time runs out, that's fine. You made a bunch of progress in your progress bar. You'll just go do another event. And you'll basically do enough events to fill up your bar. If that takes you 20 minutes, great. If that takes you an hour and a half, great. Destiny 2 doesn't really care.
Yeah.
When you fill up the bar, you go fight a boss that also doesn't have a timer. So if you don't have a lot of damage on your team, that's fine. You just keep plugging away at the boss and you'll eventually beat it. The coolest thing about this is part of that invitation quest, at the end of it, you get the Chalice of Opulence, which is just a great name. What this is your way of farming exactly the gear you want. So it has 3 slots for runes, and top slot is the item type, the left slot is modifiers for that, and then the right slot is your masterwork. So if you really love sniper rifles, and you really love the sniper rifle that came out with this DLC, it's called Beloved, you slot the sniper rifle type of rune in the top, and it'll basically say slotting this in the top will give you a sniper rifle. So it's very clear. Slot another type of rune in the left-hand one, and then when you go beat that boss, a chest drops. When you open up that chest, you will get that sniper rifle. It won't just be a sniper rifle, it'll be the exact one that you put in the combination for. That's so great, because now, if there's a gun I really like in there, I can farm for the perfect roll really easily by just slotting in the right ones. If I want to get the whole armor set, just put in the right combination for the head and chest and legs and so on and so forth and get the whole armor set. It's so cool. And we'll upgrade the Chalice over the next couple of weeks. You get the... They're called Imperials. It's basically a drop to upgrade your Chalice from triumphs and stuff you do sort of weekly. So it's not just, here's the thing, go use it. It doesn't change at all. That's a huge improvement. You know, you can get into the menagerie really quickly. You can get exactly the gear you want, and you can farm for whatever you want. And it's the exact opposite to how the last season went with the Reckoning, where it's like there's 7 weapons in this drop, and in this loot table, you're not guaranteed to get one for each run. Just keep running it, and hopefully you'll get something. So it's very nice to see them do this. That's the good stuff. They changed the Pursuits tab. So when Destiny 2 launched, in your inventory you had this giant list of icons, your bounties, your quests, everything you're really working on. They moved that into the director, so the map screen. And now instead of holding 50, you can hold 63. I really don't like it. There's a couple of big problems. One is it's way slower. And I'm on a PS4 Pro, so it is even slower for people that are on PS4 vanillas. There's too much information, because before it was just an icon, so you could sort of tell, oh, this one's Crucible, this one's a quest, this one's an exotic quest. Now it has that icon and a title and like the first 2 lines of the description, but nothing more than that. So it's just this field, this whole, array of text there.
It reminds me of going into the star map in Elite Dangerous and just zooming out a little bit.
Right, where it's just like, oh, there's so much stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
But the worst part is you can filter between bounties and quests now, which is great. It does not remember that setting when you go in between. And all that stuff is still together, but even worse, stuff like the Chalice of Opulence and the synthesizer from last season, which aren't quests and they aren't bounties, they're these items that you need to feed stuff into to go do an event. Mm-hmm. That's in there too. So like you have 3 or 4 different types of things in there, and it's just a mess. So that's not really a whiff, but it's one of those things where it's like, I hope you iterate on it, because you're getting somewhere cool. You need to use the system you used in Destiny 1, which was great. You had these big icons for your quests, and they showed you all the quest steps and the rewards. You had this section for bounties, and then you need to make another section for like your synthesizer and your chalice and stuff.
So, did they Ubisoft their map screen, is what I'm hearing you say here?
Well, what's even weirder is it's not on the planetary map. It's like 1 tab over, so it's just this vomit of text on the screen. And then they went and they changed how the shaders look.
As someone who loves shaders, we know this gets to you.
I'm not the one that hated the problem that they're trying to solve. So like 1% of people get really upset at shaders because the shaders have 4 colors on them, and it basically equates to the colors that are going to apply to your gear. Mm-hmm. What people get really upset is on one shader, the north quadrant is white, so that applies to the primary color of our gear. But on the other one, the north quadrant doesn't apply to primary, it applies to like the second. Some people have a real problem with this. So
I can understand from a UI perspective and from a readability perspective, that is a stupid decision to not have them all be universal. Correct me if I'm wrong, can't you preview them before you
Thank you. You can preview them, which shows you on your entire character. That's a separate problem. When you preview it, you should be able to apply to all gear at the same time. Mm-hmm. That would be a really nice change. They have heard us on that. So what they've done is, I think, conceptually interesting. They've changed it programmatically, so each shader, each quadrant on it, is actually a screenshot of how it actually looks on your gear. So if the gear is shiny, those quadrants will be shiny and sort of shimmery. If it has like a holographic effect on it, it'll show that stuff. The problem is the previous shaders were flat. Now all of these shaders have like this weird, like 2012 iOS skeuomorphic shine to them, and it makes it look really weird. I don't like it at all. I sort of get a better idea of what the gear is going to look like, but it makes the individual shaders really hard to read. So yeah. I get where they were going. It's just a little weird. And the last thing they changed, and I had totally forgotten, they talked about this like 2.5 months ago. They introduced gunsmith bounties. And these replaced scrapper bounties. How scrapper bounties worked before is you would dismantle a piece of gear, and every once in a while it would drop a bounty. And it would say like, go play 2 rounds of Crucible, and you'll get some Glimmer, and you'll get a Masterwork core. Those weren't good because they weren't a regular source of this stuff. They have replaced that with gunsmith bounties, which when they explained it really poorly, shockingly. They're actually really cool. The gunsmith has 2 weekly bounties and 3 daily bounties. Each one of those will give you at least 2 mod components and at least 1 Masterwork core, only basically for like kill enemies with void weapons. You kill like 25 and it's done. Kill enemies with machine guns. You kill 25 and it's done. So not only are they really easy, they encourage you to change up your loadout to play with different stuff to get these done.
Yeah.
So
that's the best kind of mission where it's like, do this with this.
Yeah.
Just so you can experiment with other styles.
Yeah. And it's literally just like kill enemies. It's not go do lost sectors
PvP.
on Nessus. Yeah, go do PvP. It's like I just want to play the stuff I want to play to get my drops. And I'm working on 2 or 3 or 4 different types of quests along the way, which is really great.
Yeah.
So largely, new season is really great. It feels a little thin on content overall, but I think the reason why that is the reason we'll be talking about in news stories in a little bit. But overall, I think they have a season roadmap like they've done before. So an exotic quest comes out next week. A heroic version of the menagerie comes out the week after that. They have 1 or 2 things coming out every week, which is really cool. The new raid launched too, Crown of Sorrow, which looks really cool. And I will not be able to play it for like a year. But looks really neat. And the world's first race was really cool. Bungie did really well on that.
It sounds like I think my wife said it sounds like an emo song.
Yes.
She was talking about a golf club map, which was Oceans of Memories.
Yeah.
Oceans of Memories and Crowns of Sorrow are my 2 first EPs from my punk emo band.
That's right. So Destiny 2 still doing well. Still, if you're in it, you're doing pretty well. If anyone wants to, we'll talk about a little bit about the future of Destiny 2 in a moment. If anyone wants to hop into Destiny 2 right now, everything that's out for Destiny 2 right now, including the annual pass, is on sale for $40. If you just have Destiny 2 and Forsaken, the annual pass is only $15. So it is super, super cheap. And there's right now is a really good time to jump in, or September 17th.
It makes me want to jump in.
Yeah.
Like hearing that all of that content is now $40. It's like,
that's a lot of game for $40. Or wait until September 17th, which we'll talk about here in news stories. But that's all I've been playing, so let's take a break. Let's talk about release for the week of June 10th, 2019. House and Fata Morgana Dreams of the Revenants Edition comes out digitally on PS4 and PS Vita. And that's it.
It's that name.
It's a mouthful. What I didn't realize up until recently is this is Limited Run Games' first game they're publishing, but it's also the reason why they're publishing it is they've kind of redone it completely. Like the old game was not 1080p. They've done that. They've cleaned up a lot of sprites. They've cleaned up a lot of the game, and they added a whole bunch of side stuff like audio drama, side stories. It's a pretty cool package. So that's pretty neat. And it's E3 week, so no one is putting out anything else. Understandably,
Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo. Cough, cough. We gotta wait for the direct, I guess.
Yeah. Honestly, if they say it comes out now and it's during, is that the worst thing you can possibly do? Is say it's available right now?
Not for Nintendo, because I feel like that's probably the best thing they can do at any direct.
How many switches are going to be connected to internet? And how many people in LA are going to be shaking their fists?
The store isn't working.
The sky.
Yeah. E3's Wi-Fi sucks. Yeah. Yeah. Fingers crossed. We talked about it at the top of the episode this week. We're not covering any E3 stuff, including leaks or Stadia or the Microsoft press conference that just finished.
Moon has remained spoiler-free so far.
Yeah.
Generally speaking.
Yeah, congratulations. But we will be talking about that stuff during next week's big E3 blowout. We were just talking about Destiny 2, and Bungie did have a live stream this past week where the thing they built was like the future of Destiny 2. And my prediction was we'll see another annual pass. It'll just be the same thing before, this sort of content drip. And my out of left field prediction also came true, which we'll talk about here in a minute. They did announce Destiny 2 Shadowkeep, which is their new expansion. Most importantly, a standalone expansion. If you have not played any Destiny 2 up until this point, you can hop right in Shadowkeep, play that stuff with your friends. Mm-hmm. That's great. We're going back to the moon. It looks crazy. Eris is back. Nightmares, September 17th.
Yep.
They announced there are no more no more platform exclusives. Yes. Yeah. That stuff sucks. No more exclusives. So that's really great. They threw some shade at Activision for that, and it was really good.
Well, they got Tencent money now. They don't need to do that anymore.
That's right. Well, I think Tencent is just funding their other title they're working on. I don't know if Tencent money goes towards Destiny 2. Probably, but who knows. Most importantly, for me, they announced cross-save across all platforms. That is PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Google Stadia. They showed a little snippet of the interface, and basically you choose, if you have multiple platforms that you play on, you're basically going to choose one platform. So for me, I have characters on PC. I don't play on PC. And I have my main characters in PS4. I'll pick my PS4 characters. Those ones will go across all 4 platforms. And those will, no matter where I hop on at whatever point, those will be my characters, and they just go across all platforms.
So you're basically picking your primaries.
Exactly. Allegedly, they're going to shelve the other characters. They're not going to delete them. There's a lot of details to work out, like, hey, if I play Shadowkeep and I have all the content on my PS4, do I have to rebuy that on other platforms, or do I own that?
Yes.
I'm probably yes, but we'll get into why that's not such a big deal here in a minute. But there's a lot of details to work out. They say that we're probably going to be able to cross-save our characters this summer. So they're still working on it. The Jason Schreier, we were talking about him during the break, the rumor he picked up was that Sony apparently agreed to cross-platform the night before they did the live stream. So thank you, Sony. Stop being so dumb about cross-save.
But Boston, Sony has opened the doors. Everybody is freely available to use the cross-play and cross-save features that Sony encourages and welcomes.
They open the door by like a millimeter.
It doesn't just include Fortnite.
Right. It also includes Dauntless and Rocket League. And I think that's it.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't Sony's fault.
Sure. For the players. The very last thing they announced is
the stupidest
I know.
tagline ever.
Is probably the biggest thing that they could announce. And it's called Destiny 2 New Light. So what this is Destiny 2 is going free to play, largely. And New Light encompasses everything from Destiny 2 Year 1, and that includes base game, the first 2 pieces of DLC, and Forsaken. Most of Forsaken for free. The really cool part is this is your new entry point for Destiny 2. If you've never played Destiny 2 before, something they've done that's really cool is they've gone and redone the opening mission from Destiny 1, where you wake up in the field cars and you go through the wall and you get your ship and you go to the tower. That's what you play when you start Destiny 2 New Light. Play that 15-minute mission. When it drops you in the tower, you are level 50 and you're power level 750. You are ready to go do anything in the game with your friends at that point. You don't have to play through any story campaign stuff. You are good to go. You can go play through all that stuff. The vanilla base game and the first 2 pieces of DLC are all open and free. All the planets are open, including the Forsaken stuff. Sounds like the only thing you'll need to buy is the Forsaken story stuff. If you want to play through that stuff, you can do the raid without it. And then you'll have to buy Shadowkeep, which is understandable because that's, their big expansion. Additionally, they're moving to a per season purchase plan. So if you want to buy season 9 because you like that stuff, you can do that by itself. If you don't want to buy season 10 because maybe it's like another Gambit one and you don't like Gambit, you don't have to buy it. And you can still play it, but you won't have that new experience that's in there.
So they're basically switching out to a season pass model.
Right. And unlike this annual pass, where you had to buy the 3 seasons all at once, just buy whatever you want, come and go as you please. Basically, the whole game is available to you.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but there were people who were getting about ready to file some lawsuits and some complaints.
People who don't understand depreciation. So what's really interesting is Bungie, for the first time, has called Destiny an action MMO, which it has been for its 5 years it's been around. But this is the MMO model. Like when Forsaken came out, the base game and the expansions went on sale. When this was announced, the whole package, what Blizzard would call a battle chest, everything that's been up until that point goes on deep discount. So if anyone wants to jump in now, create all their characters for when cross-save comes out, you can do that. And it's only $40 for $150 worth of content. That's great. That means more people can play Destiny 2. Like, the thing that I'm so excited about New Light and cross-save, I want more people to play Destiny 2. Number one, selfishly, so I have more people to play Destiny 2 with. But also, I think it's in a really great position now. I think it'll be in a better position come September 17th. And the hardest part before, we went through this with the Hannah, where it's like, all right, I want to get into Destiny 2. I've never played it before. What do I buy? It's like, all right, unravel the spreadsheet. All right, buy this and then that, but don't buy this, but buy that. And then it was like $100 you're plunking down because they hadn't gotten to the battle chest point. I love that now, come September, you can say, download New Light, it's free, do a 15-minute mission, I will invite you to a party, we'll go do all this cool stuff.
Yep.
I think that's great. Completely removing the barrier of entry. And knowing Bungie, if like they've done with Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 before, if you've played before New Light comes out, you'll probably get a free emote. You'll probably get a free exclusive veterans emblem. You'll get a bunch of currency. You'll get some cool stuff for having been playing this for a while, which is all I really want. Just give me an emblem. That's cool. But yeah, those people need to stop playing Destiny if that's their complaint.
I get on what I can understand where they are coming from. If I was a crazy person, but I'm not. I paid $60 for a game 2 years ago that I still haven't started yet. Big whoop. Right. I'm not going to go and ask for a refund on that.
Yeah, and I think that
deal with it.
The thing that they lose sight of is we have been playing the content when it's relevant. So that content hasn't expired. You still want to go get Whisper of the Worm, even though it just got nerfed. You still want to get Outbreak Perfected. You still want to experience these cool quests. You still want to run the Leviathan, because it's a cool raid. And you'll still want to run Last Wish, because that's a really great raid. Even though they're not, quote-unquote, current, they're still going to be available for you to run, especially if you get New Light. It'll be free. But if you played them back when they came out, you got the super overpowered loot when it was overpowered, and you got all this cool stuff, and you got the early emblem for finishing the raid in the first week. You got all the cool stuff that you can't get now. And that's fine. That's what happens when MMOs come out.
This is the Steam review page of game's okay, played 7,000 hours.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if I'd recommend it. I played 1,400 hours. It's like... Yeah. So I was going into that stream thinking, we'll show our roadmap and we'll talk about that for a while. I feel really positively about the future of Destiny 2. I feel like they made a very thinly veiled point to say we're out from under Activision. So now we can do all this cool stuff like making Destiny 2 free. Like
this is the Bungie way, though.
Yeah.
Like this is we're out from under the heels of Apple, so now we can make Halo the way we want.
No more yoked by Microsoft.
And now we're out from under the heel of Microsoft, so we can make Destiny the way we want to.
Exactly.
And now we're out from under the yoke of Activision, so we can make Destiny Destiny 2 the way we want to. Like, okay, you just Bungie concern me sometimes. Like, don't get me wrong, they've got a good, from what I understand, they've got a good plan, and it's not so much a roadmap. From where they're going, they don't need roads. Right. But the fact that this is Bungie who consistently blame everything that ever goes wrong outside of the studio,
right?
That is a bit of a kick to me, because it's just like, dude, literally every time there's an issue, you blame everyone else except for your studio.
Yep. It's
delayed. It's Microsoft's fault. It wasn't great. It's Sony's fault.
They have gone to great lengths to talk about how important it is for them to self-publish Destiny 2, and I think part of what they were talking about was like, it really is on us. But I think they haven't realized that it really is on them. Like for any mistakes, you can't just blame Activision and be like, the man upstairs, I'm just following orders.
Yeah, now they literally have no one to blame but themselves.
Yeah.
The next time the backlash hits,
right,
are they going to come out and stand out front and go, okay, you didn't like this was our fault?
Right.
Or are they going to do No Man's Sky and just zoop?
Right. Are they going to do what Bungie usually does and says, we're listening to you and we've passed that feedback on to the dev team. And then it just sort of...
That's not Bungie. That's the boilerplate response line these days.
I mean, I feel that's certainly not the community manager's fault. Like, that's literally all they can do is say, hi, tens of thousands of people are angry about this thing. We want to let you know they're angry.
Yeah.
Go fix it. And then it could take them months to fix. But, yeah. The future of Destiny 2 looks pretty good. So, and at the very least, come September, people will be able to play Destiny 2 for free and see whether they like it or not.
My question for you is, are you ready for the rage messages when you're playing PvP?
Yes.
Because you're about to open up that game to a free-to-play world, and there ain't no vitriol like free-to-play vitriol.
I'm so ready for the scrub blueberries to hit the Crucible and for us to... I will change my messaging so that no one... If you're not on my friends list, you can't message me, and then just go to town.
No. You need to keep it open. You need to keep it open so you can see it.
I put it on Twitter at the very least. Yeah.
Exactly.
Next news story here. A new Darksiders game has been announced that is not a third-person character action game.
It's a isometric Diablo game.
Yeah, they announced Darksiders Genesis, which is a Diablo spin-off. Actually developed by Airship Syndicate, who made Battle Chasers Night War, which is a game, a US-developed JRPG, which is really great. So it's one of those things where it's like, oh, cool, a new Darksiders game. Oh, a Darksiders Diablo game. Ooh, Airship Syndicate? Bring it on. Just get on my console.
Worst names. Airship Syndicate, Battle Chasers Night War. Come on, guys.
Battle Chasers Night War was it's sort of a bummer because I didn't know until the game came out. It's a fairly famous comic series. So they were sort of stuck with the name because they licensed the comics. But Airship Syndicate is kind of a cool name. Battle Chasers Night War is not a cool name. It's a name I will forever forget because it's kind of not great. It's coming out for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, and Stadia. And it will come sometime later this year. So I'm pretty excited because I like Diablo games. And
well, we know that.
Yeah. And it's kind of cool because it's a different Darksiders thing. It's not just here's another horseman, here's another third person, yada yada. They're trying something new, and I think that's pretty cool. And Airship Syndicate isn't making the same game twice. So it'll be exciting to see how they're gonna do. Speaking of franchises doing something a little bit different, there's a new Yooka-Laylee coming out, and it's going to be a 2D platformer.
Yep.
Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. No longer a 3D platformer. It's going to be 2D. People are still incorrectly calling that 2.5D. Stop doing that. It's going to be a 2D side scroller. I believe the same team is making it, and this time published by Team 17. Our favorite Worms developer.
I love Team 17 because that is a name that has registered basically throughout the entire course of my life.
Yeah.
Like, probably the same way, like, some American devs over here, like, for Atari and stuff like that over here. Team 17 has been there from my inception into video games all the way through.
Team 17 was founded in 1990.
Lemmings? Like, wasn't they Lemmings at first?
No, they were Worms. First couple Worms games.
Lemmings. I know they definitely did Worms.
Lemmings was Cynosis. Or, let me look it up. Lemmings video game. DMA Design, which turned into Take-Two.
Which turned into Rockstar?
Rockstar, yeah, Rockstar. Developers Sunsoft. Oh, that's just for Cynosis. Oh, Cynosis did the 3DO version. That's what I'm remembering. Yeah, DMA Design did that. Cynosis published it here in the US. Yeah. So, yeah, they started with Worms games, and now they're publishing pretty much anything that comes out of Europe, which is great.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's cool. This game looks pretty cool. I wasn't super interested in the first Yooka-Laylee, but I'm gonna probably keep an eye on this one because I don't know the last time I've played a 2D platformer like that. Like that hasn't been Cuphead. Rayman Legends.
I've been debating whether or not to go back and play some Shantae Half Minute, Half Genie Hero or whatever.
Yeah, I've got that downloaded on my Xbox. It's on 2 of them are on Game Pass, I think.
Yep, and one of them was gold, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been itching for a good 2D platformer.
Yeah, it's been a while, and not like a tough as nails one like Cuphead.
No, like a Rayman. Like I'm gonna hit these beats and do this stupid music level, and it's gonna be ridiculously fun.
Those are so good.
How did they make Black Betty into a platform song? I don't know.
I love it. All right, let's move on to emails here. Most of these carried over from last week. Jimbo Jango sends us an email. Hey, TVGP. Screw that up.
What was that?
Jimbo Jangles here. Hi, Jimbo Jangles. With E3 around the corner, what are some of your favorite announcements / reveals and even some blunders from previous E3 shows? I mean, I remember losing my mind over that Titanfall reveal, and who could forget attacking that crab's weak point for massive damage? What are some of your most memorable E3 moments? Later, guys. Jimbo. That Titanfall reveal was pretty good.
Yeah. Cringeworthy Mr. Caffeine, mostly because Aisha Tyler was the next year and she showed how good it could be.
Yeah.
Now, I know if Aisha's not your kind of humor, then that's absolutely fine.
Sure.
But she's someone who has a personality and can speak on a public forum full of people. And generally speaking, doesn't look like she gives an F what anybody has to think about
She
her.
ran a good show. Yeah.
So I think she was pretty great. Like, she was the highlight of the Ubisoft press conferences to me for a long time.
One of my more memorable ones was last year's Microsoft press conference with Cyberpunk.
Yeah. It's a really, really good...
Yeah, where it like took over the whole stage and showed that trailer. I thought that was really cool.
That was the closing of the show. Crackdown 3, mostly because as soon as I heard the voice...
Yes.
I was like, oh my God, because I was actually watching this with my wife over Skype at the time.
Okay.
Because I was in the UK and she was over here. That's how long ago Crackdown 3 was announced.
Right.
And I just remember hearing that voice and losing my mind. And my wife being like, what is it?
Yeah.
Because she didn't have the connection that I had with it.
Right. Anything else? I feel like a lot of cringeworthy stuff is whenever Microsoft talks about Forza and brings a dumb car on stage.
It's cringeworthy because you're not in the culture. Now, if you were a petrol head like me and Jimbo, then you'd understand where the love comes from, but you're not. So you
some like unreleased cool sports car.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's awkward. I don't think it's cringeworthy. It's like, cool, I get it. You got a car.
Yeah.
What's the car doing in a video?
Car came out for 30 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was one that popped into my head and I can't remember what it was now.
Cringeworthy for me is probably all of last year's Bethesda show. Every year's Bethesda show. It's just, it's insane. It's like Konami's used to be. They're just insane. Like,
well, I think Bethesda pulls it off.
Yeah, Konami never pulled it off. Konami's was always like... Konami's is like when your local high school puts on Othello. It's just not going to be good. And that's...
Whereas Bethesda is when your local high school puts on Aliens and knocks out the park.
Right. Yeah, and it's like, that was... It was weird, but I had a good time. And I didn't expect to.
Anytime David Cage gets up on stage...
Oh, God, yeah. When was the last time he's been on stage?
Well, there was also I think it was his PlayStation 4 reveal event with the stupid wizard face guy.
God, I forgot about that. You
forgot about it, and I remember
so bad. Yeah, David Cage came on stage to show off a wizard's face.
Speaking of awkward, the Harry Potter magic book game.
Oh, boy. That came out.
Live demo, folks.
That came out. We had one at my last job. Wonder Book.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That was a really bad demo.
There were 2 of those, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Peter Molyneux was never cringy on stage, but somehow he made me get excited for pipe dreams that I didn't think I would ever be able to get excited for. Yeah. I still want Milo. I want Milo.
Yeah. Peter, yeah, he did a good job. I liked him on stage. One of the... It wasn't cringeworthy, it was a little awkward, was the Beatles rock band... playable on stage demo where it kept getting paused and the controllers weren't working. Peter Moore was just hitting stuff.
I love Peter Moore. He was always so good.
Yeah, he was great.
Thank you for now being in charge of my football team, Peter Moore.
Yeah. What else? I feel like a lot of the really old E3 stuff, like the Giant Crab, that's pretty well-worn territory, but we've gotten some weird stuff
now.
Yeah, it's like the Legends Hall of Fame. I feel like we've gotten some weird stuff lately, but a lot of these conferences, because they're live streamed, are sort of rehearsed within an inch of their life. And
nowadays, yeah,
I feel like that's why I liked Ubisoft for the last couple of years. It's like a really nervous pair of developers from an indie studio came up on stage to passionately show their game, cry at the applause, and then leave stage. It's like, cool, like these were the 2 people making this game. That's really cool. I don't know if I'll ever play it, but that looked cool.
Yeah, when they get the real people out there, that's when I feel like it's great. When I don't like the real people who have just got overly rehearsed things, like Ubisoft is a good example.
Right.
The super over-dramatic Watch Dogs and Division original reveals.
Or they're like, the worst thing to do are those scripted, rehearsed 4-player multiplayer things for like Ghost Recon.
I'm going to go this way. You got my 6?
I'm breaching,
yeah, I got your 6.
Breaching the door. Do you have my 6? Yes, I have your 6, Charlie.
Yeah,
yes, I have your 6, Death Gamer 420.
There is no, number one, there is no F-bombs in there, so you know that's not real.
Right.
There is no, wait, what? I was checking Twitter, so you know that's
no one
not
farting
real.
in the background.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
No animal noises, no kids.
Yeah. No kids screeching. Yeah.
There's something else. I mean, honestly, the thing I love about it is when you get people up there who are genuinely passionate.
Yeah.
And that's always the thing I look forward to about E3. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm going to watch... I haven't seen anything so far, and I'm going to watch the trailers, and I'm going to watch the stage shows and stuff. And it's going to be the same people who make me excited over and over and over again. It's... As much as you can love him or hate him, it's Spencer. Phil Spencer for Xbox. You can tell he cares.
Yeah.
And you can tell he is excited about games. Go and listen to him talk on the Giant Bomb
I'm so excited for this year's one. I hope he does it again.
Always... I'm expecting he will. He seems to be a regular over there now. Even like had a joke with them last year after literally Windows updating cut off the last part of his interview with them.
That's right.
Like the dude's got nothing but a good sense of humor and genuinely excitement for what he does. Like most of the Ubisoft devs are the same, and Yves Guillemot is very much that. He's like a child in a toy room whenever he comes out. And
he's the fun uncle.
Games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes the creepy uncle, but mostly the fun uncle.
He's a fun uncle that's going to bring you an iPad for your 10th birthday. It's like, this is awesome. Inappropriate, but it's super cool.
Yeah. Like, then you get the D-bag who comes out on the EA stage who replaced Peter Moore, and it's just like...
The shiny suit guy.
I just want to punch him in the face.
I just want you to go away.
Just got one of those faces.
Yeah. Next email is from Coast Jamal in chat from last week. With E3 coming soon, what are some of the games you spent too much time on before even playing 1 second of it? Looking up trailers, previews, interviews, forums, etc., no matter if the game disappointed or not. Well, that's a good question.
Elite Dangerous, because I put a solid 20 hours into researching that game before I even figured out if I wanted to buy it or not.
Yeah.
Because it came out on early access on Xbox, and I tried the 1 hour demo and was like, I'm really liking this.
Right.
But it seems like it's more to it than I thought.
Yeah.
And then I went down that rabbit hole, something wicked, before I actually made the decision to pick it up.
Oh, man, I'm trying to think.
Cyberpunk, but a big thing for me now, nowadays at least nowadays, I see a trailer, I back away, I'm like, okay, trailer, I'm in or I'm out.
Right.
Or I'll make my mind up. For me now, it's actually one of 3 stages. It's I'm in, I'm out, I'll get it when it goes to Game Pass.
Right.
They're my 3 stages at the moment. So depending on what people are saying, Rage, that's a Game Pass game for me right now.
Yeah.
Because I'll wait and see. But then I'll see a trailer and like, I don't even need to see it to know, okay, Doom Eternal, I'm in. I don't care. Doom 2016 is one of my favorite games of the past like 10 years.
Right.
I'm probably going to be in on that. Which, by the way, Boston, have you played Doom yet?
Oh, no comment. But like that's like for Cyberpunk for me, where you can watch a trailer for that
I'm in.
and look at it and say, I like CD Projekt Red. This seems like a cool thing. I'm willing to roll the dice on it because even if it's a failure, it seems like it'll be interesting. Like a Kojima game. It's like, I'll buy a Kojima game. It might be a trash fire, but it's going to be weird, and it's going to be a movie that I play every once in a while.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's where I'm at these days. I'm like, I see one thing and I make my mind up, but I don't set my mind in concrete is the big thing for me. Because this is something a lot of people do, is a lot of people are like, see one trailer, F that game, I'm out.
Right.
Concrete, done. Like Kojima's new game. I'll play that thing eventually, whatever it is.
Right.
But right now, I'm probably going to wait because I don't know if I can prioritize that above all of the other millions of games I have to play. Whereas back in the day, I was like, Super Mario 64, before that thing even came out, before the N64 even came out, I was like buying every single magazine that had that thing on the cover because I didn't understand what it was.
Right.
Like, if you had Mario on the cover in 3D, I was like, I'm checking this out because I need to know what this game is.
What is this thing?
Mario 64 is still one of the best games of all time.
It's a great game.
Like, it did what Nintendo does, which is they change the game when nobody expects them to. Like, back in those days, like that's how that's the longest time I spent with games was I'd get the E3 issue of a magazine.
Right. This like thick preview issue.
And that's when I'd then go, okay, I'm interested in these 5 games, and I'm going to absorb everything to do with those 5 games.
Right. I feel like
back on GameFAQs for rumors.
I feel like I'm at the same point with a lot of games that you are. I'll watch more trailers, I think, than you do, just to sort of keep an eye on it as it develops. I think the only time that flowchart basically changes for me is indie games, because I feel like oftentimes a game will get announced, like Tunic, for example, and then you'll see it change year over year pretty significantly. That's not a bad thing. Oftentimes it will improve year over year, where it's like, oh, God, this game looks so much better now, like graphically and shadows and stuff. Or a game will change significantly where it's like, it was this game before, and now it's in 3D, and now it's an orchestral soundtrack. Before it was like 16-bit pixel art. Like there's significantly different things. I feel like that's, for me, that's a little bit different.
Yeah, for those type of games, I honestly go by what other people say.
Yeah.
Like, I'll catch them here and there. Like, Void Bastards is a prime example of this. It caught my interest with the trailer, but it wasn't until people start talking about it a lot, and it's like, this is what it is. This is the type of game.
Yeah, it's actually a roguelite and not just a first-person shooter.
Yeah. Then it's like, now you're scratching my interest right now.
Yeah. T-Bomb Rocks in Discord says, Justin Rowland of Squanch Games, the Rick and Morty co-creator, was asked in a recent interview why he decided to get into creating games. He stated that it was because of the potential of VR. My question for you is, what types of advancements in gaming would it take for other media creators to get into video game creation? I think VR has been a big one so far.
Yeah, lower barrier to entry budget-wise.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the thing that's going to stop big names like Steven Spielberg from coming out and making a full-on game.
The sequel to LMNO.
The people who want to do these, they know what they're getting for $60 million or for $200 million when they put it in front of a studio and say, this is what we've got to make this movie. They don't know what they're getting when they do that for a game. Because you can look at some games and say, this is a $2 million game that is phenomenal. It plays well. The art style is great. It's going to age fantastically because of the way it looks. And then you can look at the last Call of Duty game and say, this is a $500 million game that doesn't seem to be standing up that well.
Yeah, there was a recent interview with Seth Rogen saying that when he and his partners go and make movies, they try and stick to the $25 to $30 million budget movie because you can make their movies for that cheap, and you know for that day, for that week, for that month, you're never the studio's biggest problem. You're going to make that movie for $25 to $30 million. You will recoup that cost and maybe make a little bit more on top of that. You're never their biggest problem. And I feel like there isn't...
The Blumhouse method. Like, you put out a whole bunch of low-budget stuff and something hits, Get Out, that kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden you can fund another 60, 70 low-budget things with this one big hit.
It's Squaresoft on the PS1 where it's like, I will give you any team that wants $2 million to go make a game, make whatever you want. And if it hits, great. If it doesn't, that's fine. We spent $2 million. We got Final Fantasy VII money. Whatever.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think barrier to entry, and I think it's getting better because I think as much as people don't want to believe it, I think we're seeing more and more interesting games be successful. Stuff like What Remains of Edith Finch, the Life is Strange, like some of these more cinematic, not first-person shooter, not shooting games, not JRPGs, these different games that are really focusing on storytelling that I think will appeal to some creators on other media types. And it's not just tell a really thin, rah-rah USA shooting story.
I mean, look at Florence.
Yeah.
Florence is an incredibly told, tiny little story.
A 30-minute story.
That cost them how much to make?
Yeah. Winning tons of awards can only be told on a mobile device. Yeah.
I mean, I think this is where stuff like the BAFTAs and things like that, like these, not the video game award show, but real awards.
Arts awards shows.
Yeah. Giving that to video games, it's going to increase the awareness, and then who knows, maybe Guillermo del Toro is working with Ninja Theory or whoever it is he's supposed to be working with to make a game.
Right.
If that's true, they need to make it a low-budget game. Keep it... Is this going to be the return of the triple Bs?
Maybe, yeah, and play to the creator's strengths.
Exactly. Yeah. Give me GDT making a creepy world with like a really interesting story, and that's fine by me.
Yeah.
I don't need to smash things with a giant axe or anything, although depends on who's making the game. I think they just... It could also be an age thing, where the people who are making the auteurs of the cinema universe and TV universe maybe slightly above our generation in the age bracket, and therefore didn't grow up the way we did.
They were just before video games, before you grew up with games. You were growing up with like comics and movies, like that was your primary thing. Yeah,
so like they don't have this connection with us.
It's not in their DNA.
Connection with games. Whereas you look at like Elijah Wood, he's got his own studio now. You've got the short guy from Third Rock from the Sun. He's involved in Ubisoft's stupid thing now as well.
God, yeah, that's right. Jordan,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Thank you.
Got close to it. I was thinking of Jordan Peele.
Yeah. I'm curious if he's got video game influences because if there's one person I want to make a video game, it's him.
Yeah, make something cool that is unexpected. That would be something he'd be strong at. T-Bomb Rocks also asks, E3 hype is now heating up. Phil recently tweeted that the Xbox stage show will have 14 first-party games.
I like the fact that we call him Phil.
Yeah, just my friend Phil. Philly. Mm-hmm. P-Dog. Taking a guess, what types of games do you expect, and what would you like to see from Xbox? I'll let you go because I just watched the press conference. I won't spoil anything.
Honestly, I don't know. And that's the part I'm most curious about. That's what I'm excited. What I'm excited about is the things I don't know.
Right.
We're gonna see the outer whatever. We're gonna see the things they announced last year.
We're gonna see Gears 5 again.
Yeah, right. We're gonna see Gears Pop again. We're gonna see Gears XCOM game again.
Gears the beverage.
Yeah, we're probably gonna see the Halo Infinite, or at least some explanation as to what that thing is.
Right. They'll talk about Game Pass for PC. These are all the expectations. But what's the thing they announced where it's like the studio that brought you this game? And you're like, ooh, I like that game. Brand new game coming out in 2 months on Game Pass and Xbox exclusive and blah, blah, blah. Like that's the stuff that's exciting.
Yeah. What are they going to drop that's going to crash the servers for something?
Right.
Like, is Nintendo going to suddenly drop Cadence on the Direct and watch that thing trash the Nintendo servers?
Just let me download it first. Xbox
has Nintendo on the stage and turns around and says, oh yeah, Breath of the Wild is now available on Xbox.
On Game Pass. Yeah.
And the Xbox shuts down.
The place just erupts. Yeah.
The servers just die because immediately you could do it. You could sit there, pop up on your phone and go, download, done, and it would start downloading.
Right.
You're thousands of miles away from your home and you've just put a strain on the Xbox platform because they announced something at E3. That's the type of stuff I want to see.
How strong is Microsoft's cloud? Let's find out. Yeah.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but Sony don't seem to be good at doing that kind of stuff.
No.
So
that is correct.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't want to speculate too much because I don't want to think about it too much because I know the Beastcast and the Bombcast and stuff we've been talking about, they did a speculative list of the 14 that Phil was talking about. So literally as soon as they started talking about it, I hit the fast forward 30 seconds button twice. They'd stopped talking about it. Great.
Right.
Move on to the next topic. I just want to be surprised.
Yeah.
Because this is the year of possibilities.
Sure, yeah.
We know something's coming in a couple of years. We know the next generation.
Yeah, new consoles are on the horizon somewhere. Not necessarily land-ho, but we're heading in the direction.
It should be an inhale year, but it doesn't feel like an inhale year. Because the landscape of gaming has changed.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything from this point on is going to be backwards compatible, which means they also have to address how cross-generational games are going to work.
Right.
Are you going to release it on the old and the new? And do you have to buy it once? Do you have to buy it for the new when you can play it on the old?
Right. Can you just pop your disc in and it copies over? Yeah.
There's a lot to address. And for once, it doesn't feel like an inhale year. It feels like people are getting ready to start talking big game.
Right. While still putting out big games, year after year. Yeah.
So, I'm curious. I want to see what gets pushed. I want to see if Last of Us comes out this year.
Yeah.
No.
Find out next week on TVGP episode 608. Late Elf asks our last question here. I've been on a big retro kick lately, thanks to GOG running these sales. I finally bit on a $4 copy of The Colonel's Bequest, precursor to the Dagger of Ammon-Ra, for anyone familiar with early 1990s PC gaming. I've got a hefty backlog to get through: Harvester, Sanitarium, Police Quest, and Leisure Suit Larry. I always have a hard time saying that. And now this. Is there a title from the hallowed halls of yesteryear that would tempt you to play ancient PC relics? I loved a series that I think EA published it, and Origin, I think, put it out when Origin was not a launcher but a game studio, called Crusader. There was no remorse and no regret. They were these cool isometric, slow-paced puzzle shooter things, featuring this dude in red armor with basically no story to speak of. I would love to see another one of those, like maybe as a third-person shooter or like a turn-based strategy game or something like that. But I feel like a lot of those games I loved on the PC as a kid are still here. Like Worms is still here. You know, like Lemmings hasn't had a game for a while, but
I missed the Strike series.
Yeah, Jungle Strike, Desert Strike
series,
Urban Strike.
Yep, I think that was all three of them.
Yeah.
Like, I missed those. Like Super Monaco was my PC game, and that lives these days in F1 2019 or whatever it is.
Right, yeah.
Which still looks amazing.
Yeah.
You
know, I feel like racing games are doing pretty all right, because you have your super hardcore ones, especially like Assetto Corsa and stuff like that. You have your arcade games are not doing that great, but I feel like some indie studios are getting really close, especially like with Dangerous Driving and stuff like that. But your mid-tier ones, your sort of arcade simulation games, are still doing pretty well.
Yeah, and then you've got iRacing, which
hardcore.
iRacing is something insane.
Yeah,
considering one of the professional NASCAR drivers met his current spotter playing iRacing. Wow, that's pretty great. I think it might have been Dale Earnhardt Jr. who actually met his current spotter through that game.
That's nuts.
It's like, by the way, I'm Dale Earnhardt. Do you want to come and work with me?
Right. Yes, as a matter of, if this is not a hoax, I would love to.
I mean, I'm trying to think of old PC
Theme
games.
Hospital just got a sequel in 2 Point Hospital.
Yeah.
One of my favorite games of all time.
Give me another No One Lives Forever. I mean, it's not the ancient.
That's a dream game for a lot of people.
I mean, give me... it's bad, and you'd never be able to do it again, but give me the old CNCs back.
Have you seen some of the UI stuff they've been sharing for the remaster of the first one? No. Looking really good. Even like unit pictures and like the power bar and stuff. You're looking at it. There's no in-game screenshots, but even the UIs are like, that looks real good. Like so far you're doing all right.
Dune 2000, the precursor to CNC.
Sure,
give me that as well.
Yeah,
especially with the Dune movie coming out soon.
There you go. Get a tie-in. What other games did I really love as a kid?
Yeah, I hated point-and-click adventures when I was a kid.
Sure,
I despised them, and I hated the FMV games.
I feel like point-and-click adventures are in a really good spot right now because of. I feel like the modern iteration of that is stuff like Edith Finch.
Life is Strange.
Yeah, and Life is Strange. Like, I feel like we've moved from point and click being like a figure out the designer's mentality simulator into exploring a landscape while sad music plays and you do something cool.
Yeah.
What else? JRPGs have mostly stayed in the limelight. I loved those as a kid. And I feel like roguelikes, Tojima Roll I loved that on Genesis, and now they're the best they've ever been. Ironically, except for the new Tojima Roll. I can't think of anything else.
No, I didn't have a PC. I had an Amstrad, so like there's a reason why when I try and play PC games from back then, I hate them so much. It's because I don't have the joy for them.
Right.
And also at the same time, it's like it doesn't have that kind of click with me.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, this is the same type of game I played when I was a kid, or I know how to do this, because having tried some of those point and click games where, like you said, it's like, what kind of madness does the designer suffer from to make this puzzle work?
Right.
They literally make me want to break things.
But what's cool, I know so many people bemoan like reboots and remakes and stuff, but like you didn't grow up with Doom 1 and Doom 2 in the 90s, but now you're going to play Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, which you're getting a second chance at a beloved franchise that's doing that series,
doing
it right and doing a game faithfully, which I think is really exciting.
Yeah, I literally I don't like playing the original Doom. I don't like playing Doom 2. I hate that kind of game. Like the original first person shooters like
no mouse look,
Wolfenstein,
yep,
all that kind of stuff. I hate playing them.
Yeah.
And Doom 2016 does those series right because it gives you the game that you probably thought you were playing back then, except they do it in 2016.
Yeah, they like take what those games did really well and they modernize it. Yeah.
Same with Wolfenstein.
Yeah, Wolfenstein: The New Order. That's a great game.
It's one of my favorite stories in recent years.
Yeah. God, that game is good.
Second one, the kind of second one comes out soon. The second one plus version, 2.5.
Yeah, the VR one comes out too. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Vomit.
Anyways, that's all of our questions. Thank you very much for everyone for sending them in, and that's our episode. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page. Patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers. Get all the cool behind the scenes, early access, outcasts, our uncensored off-air conversations. This week's one is pretty good. That's at the $5. The $5 level is the best one. That gets you everything. It's only $5 a month. It's cheap. Game Club still running. Cuphead. I want to say you still have enough time to beat it, but none of us probably will. So I'm not going to lie to you.
The episode is next week, correct?
That's a great question because I have
because next week is the third Saturday of
it is, so I won't be finishing Cuphead by that point, but that's okay. That's one of the games where we said we don't have to, so
I have press conferences and Cuphead.
Right.
That's my week.
One good, one frustrating. I think that's it. Next week is our E3 episode. I'm super pumped, and we'll see you all next week.
Thanks for checking us out.
It's so hot in here.
Right there.
I have so many titles.
I got a fair few as well.
All right, why don't you hit me with yours?
Okay. The Beast has arrived. Wonderful moments. Play It for a Life. Moon's Luck. Teetotal Ship. Curse of Jess.
Yep.
Heartbreaking Defeat. This Isn't Sony's Fault. Hashtag for the players. I can't help it.
I know.
Ain't no vitriol like F2P vitriol.
It's a little too long, but I like it.
Yeah, I figured as much. I just wanted to write it down.
Yeah.
Scratching My Interests and My Friend Phil.
My Friend Phil is really good. My Friend Phil. All right, I have Moon's Luck, A Quest for the Plague, The Jason, A Teetotal Ship, I Have to Vomit on People a Lot, The Sacrifice Routine.
That's a really good...
I love that it sounds like a black metal band. I can see the logo, like with all the lines.
The scritchy right.
Yeah. You Will Vomit and You Will Like It. I really like it. It's a touch long, but The Curse of Jess and My Friend Phil. There's a lot I like from this week. Sacrifice Routine is really good. Teetotal Ship is really good. I wanted to see how to spell that.
Teetotal. Teatotal, I think.
Teetotal.
Okay.
Teetotaler. What's the passive?
Teetotal.
Yeah, I think it is. Press absent, yeah. Oh, there's the definition. Teetotaler, one who practices or advocates teetotalism. Yeah, teetotalist. Okay. Anything you really like?
And give me your top three.
Sacrifice Routine. Teetotal Ship. Moon's Luck is... I feel like those are my two leaders. Everything else is really good, but I really like those two. I really like You'll Vomit and You'll Like It, It's
a touch long.
It's a little too long.
I think so. For me, it's got to be Sacrifice Routine.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. I feel like that's the winner. It's such a video game term that just out of context sounds so weird.
It could be so many different things.
Right.
Like, it could be a religious practice. It could be a video game thing. It could be a death metal band.
Right. Could be some pagan thing.
It could be your handle on video games.
Oh, man, the Sacrifice Routine is such a good gamer tag. Man.
But then you make it even better because it's Sacrifice Routine 420.
There you go.
It makes even more sense.
Man, so good. Okay. Are you ready?
Yep.
Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 607 for June 10th, 2019. The Sacrifice Routine.
Hook 3 times or more, eh?
All right, thank you. No one's left in chat. Thank you, everyone, for watching the archive of this stream. we really appreciate it. See you next week for E3. Don't forget, bring energy drinks, wear a diaper. It's going to be long. So,
dude,
document's already three pages.
They can't see below my neck, so don't spoil my methodology.
Yeah. All right, we'll see you everyone next week. Bye.
Bye.
And we can stop recording.